We're playing the new burn spell, Boltwave from Magic the Gathering Foundations and Legacy. This is an ultra sweet, budget-friendly deck. Let's go check it out. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. This is Legacy Burn, and I am so excited to play today due to that new card out of Magic Foundations. Of course, I am talking about Boltwave, and here it is. It's a 1-mana sorcery. Boltwave deals 3 damage to each opponent. Well, why is that so good? We'll get there in just a moment. So I would like to clarify something. We're a combo channel. I love combo decks, but Burn today was requested by some of our paid supporters, and well, I felt like indulging them. Burn is a combo deck. You cast 7 spells over 3 turns. Ah ha ha ha. Not really. Burn is an aggro deck. That said, I did think Boltwave from Foundations was so fun and new that I thought I would give it a whirl, so hopefully you appreciate this slightly different content. Well, why is it so good? Well, Boltwave is pretty similar to Lava Spike, originally printed in Champions of Kamigawa, except Lava Spike targets and can hit planeswalkers. Well, Boltwave gets around things like Leyline of Sanctity, which is traditionally a problem for this mono-red deck. So that is why Boltwave is so good. It's also just a new 1-mana spell that deals 3, and there's only so many of those that exist. So today we're playing 18 mountains, no fetch lands, no need to get your land stifled, and we're not playing anything like Grim Lavamancer anyway. We have Chain Lightning, the classic Lightning Bolt. We have Goblin Guide, Monastery, Swiftspear, and then my nemesis, Eidolon of the Great Revel, is the creature package. Then we have some newer burn spells, and by newer I mean still pretty old. We have Riftbolt, Skewer the Critics, Fireblast, originally printed in Visions, that's before my time, and then Price of Progress to punish non-basic lands. I don't like Eidolon of the Great Revel. I'm begrudgingly playing it today because it is in burn, but it's good against combo. Speaking of cards that are good against combo, we have Mindbreak Trap in the sideboard. Burn really struggles with combo decks, so the sideboard overcompensates for that. So one of the most popular decks at the moment is the Mystic Forge combo deck, commonly called Karn Forge. Smash to the Smithereens is very good there. So is Null Rod. And then the best deck in the format is Reanimator. So we have Faerie Macabre and Grafdigger's Cage, which also doubles as Storm Hate. We have more copies of Price for Progress for control decks or lands. That is Legacy Burn. It's extremely affordable. Did I mention it's only $250 as of the day I record this? And most of that is $180 of Null Rod. So if you play it without Null Rod, it's even more affordable, but I do think you want it right now just to beat the artifact combo strategies of Legacy. That is my short and sweet deck. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you do, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Boltwave from Magic Foundations. Without any further ado, I want to see you in match number 1. Let's go. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicswarm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicswarm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We are on the play. Our opponent's name is Gitaxian Probe. Pretty big fan of that card myself. I played it a lot when it was legal. Alright, so we've opened up a hand of lands and spells we keep. That is Legacy Burn. Did I mention? And I definitely did. But this deck is only $250 with 180 of it being Null Rods. If you're looking for a great budget option, I do think Burn is on the upswing right now. I really do believe that. It did well in one of the large challenger events or challenge events, whatever you'd like to call them, leading into the Anzi D showcase. Alright, we'll play a Mountain and Monastery Swiftspear on the first turn. We will attack. So why do you want to play Swiftspear? Well, on turn 2, you can Chain Lightning and Skewer the Critics or whatever you would like. And then this Monastery Swiftspear ends up dealing extra damage. Basically, every creature, you want to get at least 3 damage out of them. Alright, they play Ponder. Fine by me. They did not shuffle. They're at 18. We draw a Riftbolt. I think I'm going to wait on the Riftbolt. Let's play Boltwave. The Prowess trigger from Monastery Swiftspear. And now, hey, we dealt 3 damage with the new card. We'll now cast Skewer the Critics with Spectacle, which will make our Monastery Swiftspear now a 3/4. And as long as this Monastery Swiftspear connects, it's still 4 damage, which is better than a Lightning Bolt. So this card has already done its job. The opponent is at 9. Polluted Delta. They fetch with Polluted Delta. Okay. They're at 8 life. Very basic swamp. Fatal Push. Sure. Another Chain Lightning. Okay. We'll play the land. Let's Chain Lightning them. They take it. We'll play another Chain Lightning. They're at 2, and now we will suspend a Rift Bolt. Pass the turn. On the end step, Entomb. Uh-oh. Atraxa has lifelink, and it can find a Force of Will for a Rift Bolt. The one upside here is that we've dealt them so much damage that they cannot use Reanimate, so they have to have Animate Dead. They get Archon of Cruelty. Okay, so the Atraxa's in your hand. Or they thought maybe with Rift Bolt coming off Suspend, they didn't want to risk not hitting Force of Will. That might be it. We'll target them with the Rift Bolt. Alright, we need to draw a burn spell. Play Lava Spike. Don't have Force of Will, don't have Force of Will, don't have Force of Will. They have Force of Will. That's not good. Okay, they're playing Stifle? That is wild. Okay, so we will pass. Our opponent can now attack for 3 and gain 3 life. I'm sorry, attack for 5, but the Archon will trigger and they'll gain 3. So we have to draw exactly Fireblast in order to win this now. They play a Brainstorm. We were so close. We were within 1 life. Okay, so we now have Price of Progress as a card that can also win. We have 6 cards we could draw to win this game. Mountain was not one of them. Alright, we have lost. We'll go to the post-board games now. We were so close to getting that. Alright, I've made our deck legible so that way we can actually see what we're doing. We'll bring in all 4 copies of Faerie Macabre and the Grafdigger's Cage. We have to board 5 cards out now. Our opponent actively fetched for the basic swamp, so I think we could probably get rid of the Price of Progress. And maybe Eidolon isn't very good here. They're not really a deck that plays a lot of spells. Maybe we even want the Price of Progress over the 4th Eidolon. I don't think that's crazy. Let's try this. On the play. I don't know if you're allowed to keep triple Faerie Macabre. Like, yeah, they're a Reanimator deck, but you're not applying any pressure whatsoever. I think you're supposed to mulligan. We will begrudgingly keep this. We'll need to draw a Graveyard Hate card. Bottom the mountain. We'll play a Goblin Guide. Swing. They reveal Daze. Okay. Underground Sea and Ponder. They shuffled off the Ponder. Faerie Macabre, that was a good one. Alright, so now we can Boltwave them. Suspend a Rift Bolt. And we'll go to combat attack. So as long as this Goblin Guide connects, it's done its job. Because this 1 mana spell has dealt 4 damage. So they have Force of Will and Daze. They play another copy of Ponder. I don't know if you can tell if there's an audio difference or a lighting difference, but I've got a slightly new setup in my office. It's largely the same. I'm a Mac user, so I've been using my iMac that I bought in 2020. It was the last gen before the M series. And last year I bought a MacBook Pro Max 3, M3, whatever you would like to call it. There's so many words. But I've been using that to record, but I've decided to make it my primary machine instead. And now I've bought 3 external monitors and rearranged everything a little bit. So my mic is actually hanging over me now. And it's a little bit closer to my mouth. So maybe my audio is a little bit clearer. I'm slightly closer to the camera. So I'd be interested to know if it's better. Let's attack with the Goblin Guide. Swing, better, swing. Undercity Sewers is revealed, and now they'll fetch with the Flooded Strand. And they have Fatal Push. We'll suspend a... Actually, we can skewer the critics, because the Rift Bolt came off suspend this turn. And this plays around Daze. We'll pass. Our opponent casts Brainstorm. So if they have a large creature in their hand, we know that they have Undercity Sewers. They can then surveil that land to the graveyard. It's also a little bit odd here to see main deck Fatal Push. I mean, I know that this is a post-board game, but it's a little odd to see a main deck copy of it. And now in the post-board, you know, it's not that uncommon. But our opponent's definitely on like a hybrid list, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And now Rift Bolt will come off suspend. We'll target them. They're at 3. We know that they still have Force of Will in hand. I'm not going to sacrifice my lands to Fireblast. We know that they have counter magic. Animate Dead. We'll use Faerie Macabre. We'll exile Fatal Push, I guess, too. Okay, no Stifle. Polluted Delta. They fetch down to 2. Psychic Frog. Okay. So we know that they have Daze, Force of Will in their hand. We drew a mountain. I needed a burn spell there. We will pass the turn. They discard Reanimate and Reanimate. So now they have 4 cards in their hand. They're about to draw a card for turn. Oh, I'm sorry, off of Psychic Frog. So they're back up to 5 cards now. They discard Atraxa. That's not good. And they have another Animate Dead. That's probably the game. They did not find another Force of Will. So if they didn't have another Force of Will in hand, we could draw a burn spell and maybe burn them out. So they have 3 unknowns right now. Well, actually, hold on. They have 1 unknown right now. We knew that they had Force of Will Daze. And I guess they're going to bring back Velgavoth. So if we draw a burn spell here, I think we can beat... Okay, as long as their only unknown isn't another Force of Will, a burn spell off the top wins. We'll play Mountain, play Lightning Bolt. We know that they have Force of Will. Actually, another Force of Will can't protect them. They're at 2. So it'd have to be Force of Negation. And now we'll Fireblast them. Sweet. All right, we've stolen game number 2. I think we just resubmit this. I believe we sideboarded correctly. Yeah, keep. Turn 1, Flooded Strand. I like it when you play lands that hurt yourself. Good job. Okay, we will suspend a Rift Bolt. Pass the turn. On the end step, they use the Flooded Strand. They search out Undercity Sewers. Entomb. You did not want Entomb. That is terrifying. Misty Rainforest. Psychic Frog. Okay. Yep. Now Rift Bolt will come off Suspend. We'll target them. They're at 15 now. Monastery Swiftspear. Not a great draw with a Psychic Frog in play. We'll play our land. And we'll skewer the critics. And now we'll suspend Rift Bolt. Pass the turn. So we're playing around Daze by playing the cards in that order. You don't want to suspend and then play your card into Daze. It's just not good sequencing. They draw a card off Psychic Frog. Polluted Delta. They fetch down to 11 life for a basic swamp. Entomb. Okay. Archon of Cruelty. Reanimate. So if this resolves, they go to 3 and then up to 6. This is a choice we have here. Because we could just let this resolve. They have 4 cards in their hand. They draw up to 5. I think I'm supposed to use the Fairy. And if they have Stifle, which we saw in game number 1 when they pitched it to Force of Will, they won't be able to stifle my Rift Bolt. Alright, well that fizzled. Alright, Rift Bolt will come off Suspend. We'll target them. They're at 8. Monastery Swiftspear. I don't want to play into Daze, so we're just going to suspend Rift Bolt again. This deals them 1. They're at 7. Another attack with Psychic Frog. 6 cards in their hand. Another copy of Psychic Frog. Rift Bolt. They're pausing. They might have the Stifle now. Or Consign to Memory. And it's Stifle. Okay. We'll play a Mountain, play Lava Spike, and Lightning Bolt. They Force of Will, exiling Daze. So my creature still gets Prowess. I can attack here and then force them to block with their frog, and if they want their frog to live, they have to discard the rest of their hand. Polluted Delta, and a Fatal Push. Okay, so our creatures will bounce. And we're essentially both in top deck mode now. They're going to attack with both. Interesting. Okay, they have 3 cards. They play a Ponder. There's a lot of cards in my deck that deal 3 damage. Let's see if we can find one. They did not shuffle off Ponder. They take my Faerie Macabre with Animate Dead. Come on, burn spell. No! We'll play Goblin Guide. Swing. Goblin Guide triggers. They reveal Daze. So they'll take 1 here going to 2. And we'll pass. They're leaving back a Psychic Frog. That's probably a good sign for me. We'll take 3 down to 11. They have 4 cards in their hand. Do we get to win the match with our new card? Let's find out. Boltwave? Boltwave wins match number 1. I couldn't have written that up any better. Best deck in the format losing to Boltwave? Hell yeah. Alright, we are 1-0 in this Legacy League. Match number 2 coming right up. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, and we're facing my good friend Devin. Devin tends to play a lot of Cephalid Breakfast, so I would assume that's what Devin is playing today. Here we've opened up a 4-lander. I don't think we're actually allowed to keep this. We will send that one back. I do like this. The question is, what do we put on the bottom? Against a Force of Will deck, I think the answer is the Fireblast. So you might not know this about Bryant Cook, but I've actually played a lot of Burn in my life. Back when Zendikar came out, I was leaving college. I had finished college, and Goblin Guide was a really big part of that deck. So I've attacked with Goblin Guide a lot in my life. And then at the GP Vegas, I want to say in 2017, was right after the Sunsea's Divining Top ban. There was a triple GP. There was a Modern, Legacy, and I believe the last one was Standard. So at that one, in the Modern event, I started out 6-0 going undefeated with Burn. Didn't lose a single game, but it's a 9-round event. The next 3 rounds, I just got crushed by people that decided they weren't losing to Burn. And I sold my foil Modern Burn deck that day. So I've played it before. It's not a deck I love, but, I've played it a lot. My first time ever facing Brian Koval, my podcast co-host over at the Eternal Glory podcast, was in the top 4 of a SCG Classic where I was on Naya Burn. They reveal another island. Devin, what are you doing to me, man? Double island? Just farming lands off me. Alright, Devin's at 14. Wish that Price of Progress was a land. Meticulous Archive. And Once Upon a Time. Spicy. The Narcomoeba was not drawn, and Devin finds a Flooded Strand. Plenty of lands. Land number 2. Oh, Devin's gone deep. Shaman and Core. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, Cephalid Breakfast has been a deck for a very long time. And this was played in the early days as your extra copies before Shuko existed. We'll attack with Goblin Guide, Cavern of Souls, and another Shaman and Core. So I could leave open Lightning Bolt to try to protect myself from the combo. But if Devin has even a Daze, I lose. But if I just pass, end step Bolt, Devin goes to 6. Maybe that's okay enough. A Flooded Strand, Devin is now at 8 life. I recorded like a Phoenix Day, Doomsday Phoenix Hybrid, like a month and a half ago, where we got paired into Devin and he just annihilated me. So I think it'd be nice if we could return the favor this time. And Devin has Daze back up. So we're going to lose this, but I'm going to make Devin reveal cards, because I would like to see what other spice other than Shaman and Core Devin is hiding. Teferi Time Raveler. Well, I guess maybe Shaman and Core is to help support Once Upon a Time. Orm's Chant. Nadu. 2 copies of Orm's Chant. It looks like there's no Urza's Sagas in this build, which means that there's no copies of Shuko, which is why Devin is playing Shaman and Core. It's also another creature for Nadu, so it makes a lot of sense. Once Upon a Time hits Shaman and Core, does not hit Shuko. Shaman and Core works with Nadu. Like, all of this, the math adds up. We lose game number 1. We definitely want Faerie Macabre here. I don't think that this is a great Price of Progress matchup, so we can get rid of that. We'll bring in Grafdigger's Cage. And then, once again, I think we're probably going to sideboard out Eidolon or the Great Revel. At least down to 1. Let's try it. Game number 2, we're on the play. It's another hand where I've opened up a bunch of burn spells, double Goblin Guide, and 1 land. We do have 4 Faerie Macabres I could draw into. I'm going to mulligan. Like, I want to keep it, but I think you're supposed to send. This hand is so much better. So much better. We'll keep bottom a Lava Spike, Mountain, Goblin Guide. Swing. Flooded Strand. Devin is never not lucky. There's the Flooded Strand. Discards Ponder. So there's probably a Swords to Plowshares in there. Monastery Swiftspear. Let's play Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning resolves. We'll go to combat. Flooded Strand. For basic island, is it Hydroblast? It is. Okay. Goblin Guide attacks. There's a Swords to Plowshares. I don't like that. Yep. Ponder. Did not shuffle off the Ponder. Lava Spike. I think I'll just pass the turn here. Like, let's not give Devin another card. Like, Devin's going to Swords to Plowshares this Goblin Guide anyway. Yep. Unfortunately, we're in a spot where Cephalid Breakfast has stabilized, and we don't have any more burn. There's a Nadu. Lightning Bolt. Alright, down to 5. Misty Rainforest. And that's a Nomad's Core. Not very good for us. We're going to auto-yield here. So how we win this game now is if somehow Devin decides to be overly aggressive and mills the entire library into Faerie Macabre winning. Down to 4 life. And there's the Illusionist. Leaving open the Flooded Strand for Memory's Journey. So I don't think we're going to be able to win this. Unless the Memory's Journey's in hand. Or if it was boarded out. There's Dread Return. Another Narcomoeba. 14 cards left. There's the Oracle. 2 cards left. There's no Memory's Journey. So if the Memory's Journey's the bottom card, I get punished. Or there's 2 cards left. I could exile the Oracle right now, and then can they kill me from 22? So attack for 3, I go to 19, and then attack for 7, 7. That's not 20. So I think we're supposed to use the Faerie Macabre now. Thassa's Oracle and Dread Return. Let's see it. And now the Oracle will finish resolving, and Memory's Journey was in the bottom too! Wow, I feel like we stole this. Oh no, they did it in response. But we didn't steal this at all. My bad, I'm just wrong. So now Memory's Journey targets the Oracle, and we just lose. My bad, I forgot that they could just target again in response. I got overly excited for nothing. And now they can just mill those 3 again. Yep, okay, I was wrong. I don't know why I paused for so, like, that just didn't matter. Hey, I learned something, though. So hopefully you did too, even though I get a little bit of egg on my face, and now we finish losing to Cephalid Breakfast. We are now 1-1. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. I'll be the first to admit, I am not a burn expert, but I'm fairly confident we're not supposed to keep 6 lands plus Goblin Guide. Just throwing it out there. So we will take a mulligan. This is much better. Keep, we'll get rid of Monastery Swiftspear. Basic Forest. Okay, what are you up to over there? We draw a 3rd land. I don't love that. Goblin Guide. Swing. Nettle Sentinel. We're facing combo elves. Okay. Tropical Island. Coiling Oracle. Sure. And 2 Allosaurus Shepherd. Land number 4 is not welcome. Not a very good draw. We'll attack with the Goblin Guide. And Wirewood Symbiote. This seems like the turn we're supposed to play Eidolon of the Great Revel. Pass. Allosaurus Shepherd. Alright, so Eidolon is now dealt 2. Out of a 2-mana spell, you really want it to deal 4. And Eidolon has done its job. Another land? Jeez. We'll play Goblin Guide. Go to combat. Swing with the 2 copies of Goblin Guide. Bayou and Heritage Druid. It looks like a block on 1 copy of Goblin Guide. We'll play Chain Lightning on them. They're now at 6. The issue is that we've drawn running lands this game. Maybe 18 was too many. That was a joke. 18 is definitely the right number. Grist the Hunger Tide. Now they go to 4. So they could sacrifice one of their elves here to kill my Eidolon of the Great Revel, but they don't. Interesting. They mill over Coiling Oracle, and they get an extra insect because of it. Because I'm pretty sure this has been eroded to be like an insect or something like that, so that means that they get another one. We'll draw another Eidolon. Okay. I think we're supposed to just pass the turn. They're going to sacrifice a creature to destroy target creature or planeswalker. I'm guessing we're about to lose a copy of Eidolon of the Great Revel and a Heritage Druid, so they're now down to 2 life. If they have Natural Order, they can cast it here, and it looks like they do. There it is, Natural Order. I've drawn a surprisingly low amount of burn spells this game. I would like one off the top. With the Atraxa, they select Quirion Ranger, Green Sun Zenith, and Gaia's Cradle. So they can now Green Sun Zenith. And our opponent does it the correct way, where it's a 4 mana value spell, so that way the Eidolon of the Great Revel does not kill them. The question is, do they have anything here that can save them for a turn? I don't think so, or else they would have gotten it with the Natural Order, but I could be wrong. They select another copy of Coiling Oracle. Okay. Alright, deck, I'm begging you, just a burn spell. What about land number 6? I think we just lost, because their opponent's about to gain 7 life. So, what our opponent should do here is sacrifice like an insect token, and then just combo kill me. So they can kill my Eidolon, and then just, you know, do whatever they want. It appears that they just have the Craterhoof Behemoth in hand. Is that what I'm seeing here? Or is it a Green Sun Zenith? Alright, so our consecutive bad draws were not good enough. That was brutal, but there's still more. Grafdigger's Cage is oddly good against elves because they can't search their library for creatures. So we definitely want that. We'll board out 1 copy of Price of Progress. And I think that's all we can do. Our sideboard isn't really set up to beat elves. You're supposed to just beat it naturally, but our draws weren't very good in game 1. Game number 2, we're on the play. I suppose we'll keep this. It's not actually that great. Our opponent with a mulligan will play Basic Mountain, Monastery Swiftspear, and we'll get in there. Hiya. Tropical Island. I think in hindsight, if I was to rebuild the sideboard, I'd do 1 less Faerie Macabre, and I'd do another Grafdigger's Cage. Because at least then you could cleanly board out the double Price of Progress in some of these matchups like this. And there's a cage, slightly late, but I'll take it. Play the Grafdigger's Cage, Prowess triggers. Well, now I look foolish, because this is going to end up being better than a second cage. But I still think double cage probably would have been better. Would have made match number 1 and match number 2 a lot easier if I could have had a Grafdigger's Cage. They're at 15. Wooded Foothills, Nettle Sentinel, Birchlore Rangers, into a Wirewood Symbiote, and now they pass. They're at 15. Land number 4. We'll play Boltwave, and now we'll attack with the Monastery Swiftspears. Let's see if they block. They could block and then pick up a Nettle Sentinel using the Wirewood Symbiote, and that's exactly what they do. So they'll take 2 and we'll pass the turn. I don't want to use the Price of Progress quite yet. I want to see if I can get some more juice out of that. They grab a basic. Nettle Sentinel is back. Verdant Catacombs. Allosaurus Shepherd. So that's actually kind of terrifying because they're very close to having the 6 mana to use the activated ability here. They're going to attack for 1. We'll go to 19. Another land. Why? I think we just need to go to combat. What are you doing? Endurance? Okay. You're going to combat trick me. Yep. And now we're forced to play the Price of Progress. And if I had another spell here, we'd be in a much better spot because I could mean that my Monastery Swiftspear would live. But that's just not the case because I've drawn a ton of lands. So we're going to lose a Monastery Swiftspear. And now they bounce the creature, so we're not going to deal any damage with our attack. I'll play another land and pass. Like, this game is not lost. We have Fireblast in our deck. We could actually draw burn spells, but right now it's not looking very good for us. They play Nettle Sentinel and an attack for at least 4 here. I'll go to 15. Like, we're pretty close to Allosaurus Shepherd just killing me. They have 4 lands in play. The Birch Lord tapping 2 is 5. Skewer the critics. This puts them at 1, so that way they can't fetch. Okay, we will pass. They draw into Coiling Oracle and they play it. So if you're watching these games, you might be thinking, well, Brian, if you played some non-basics like the Horizon lands, you could sacrifice them and then draw cards. Yeah, that's true. That is certainly true. However, playing those lands opens you up to Wasteland and Legacy. It's not free like it is in Modern. And one of the nice things about Burn, at least in my opinion, is that you don't lose to Wasteland, you don't lose to Stifle. Basically, your mana base is perfect, except for the fact that you occasionally flood out. And it's just happened twice in this one match, so it's looked a little bit worse than it actually is. I do believe that you should be playing 18 Mountains. I don't think you want Fetch lands or Horizon lands or anything else. They play another copy of Coiling Oracle. Well, it's the same one, they're just replaying it. They're building up to Allosaurus Shepherd, so they found a Bayou this time. Come on, deck. This is so defeating. Pretty sure we're just dead. So they have 5 mana. They could tap 2 creatures, make the 6th mana, use Allosaurus Shepherd to untap and then attack. Like, I'm pretty sure that's just lethal. I mean, let's see if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. So they have 5 mana. Birchlore and Shepherd can tap for a mana. They then bounce one of them to untap the other. Actually, it's not lethal. Am I wrong? Because I can block 2 of them and then take a bunch of damage, but I get another turn out of it. Actually, okay, let's see if the opponent sees it. I think it's actually better here to not tap the Birchfloor Rangers and the Shepherd, and then instead just untap. Or did you draw Craterhoof? You didn't draw Craterhoof, come on. You did? Wow. Oh, yep. What a heartbreaker. Nothing I could have done other than draw better. We'll take next to infinite damage. I just want to see what my next card would have been. A Boltwave. Bummer. We are now 1 and 2. Welcome to Gold Sabertooth's Commander Pantheon Collection. Exclusive art now on playmat shirts and stickers. You can choose from iconic commanders such as Rograxialis in many different vibrant colors. Not to mention, these products are all printed on the highest quality materials. Don't miss out on limited edition merchandise and get sweet rewards when you back this project on Kickstarter. Want to know more? Check out the Kickstarter link in the description or pinned comment down below. Round number 4. We're on the draw. I will keep. I know for a fact that our opponent has been playing a lot of Reanimator recently. So being on the draw, less ideal versus the Atraxa deck, but we'll see what we can make work here. They play turn 1 Misty Rainforest and a Tundra. Cephalid Breakfast. Okay, it is not Reanimator. We don't have anything that can target a Nomads in Core, so we just have to burn and pass. Drawing land 4 was not ideal. They play Flooded Strand. Is this just a turn 2 win? It is. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, we get to look at their deck. Narcomoeba. So they're playing the Shuko version. They have a Memories Journey. Yeah, that'll do. So we've lost game number 1 to Cephalid Breakfast. We'll bring in the Fairies again and the Grafdigger's Cage. Get rid of the Price of Progress. Get rid of the Eidolon of the Great Revels. You could bring in 1 copy of Null Rod here for the Shukos. Or you could bring in, like, Smash to Smithereens. I think I like the Smash to Smithereens a little bit more. We'll try this. On the play. Sure, we'll keep it. We'll play Mountain, Monastery, Swiftspear. Swing. They fetch with Misty Rainforest, down to 18. Into a Nomads in Core again. We'll play Lightning Bolt on the Nomads. The Force of Will, exiling Narcomoeba. Okay, we'll go to combat, swing, and then we'll skewer the critics on the Nomads. Get out of here. Pass the turn. They play Misty Rainforest. We draw into our Fairy. That's good. We'll Boltwave you. And suspend a Riftbolt. Swing. They're now at 10. Misty Rainforest. Searching out a Hedge Maze. That's a Cephalid Illusionist. Riftbolt targeting them. They go to 6. Monastery Swiftspear. And we'll attack for 3. Alright, well, if our Faerie Macabre was a burn spell... Oh, I guess it'd have to be a 1-mana burn spell. But I guess it could have been like Eidolon or the Great Revel or something. And now they have Nomads again. So... And they have the green mana open, too. So what we need to do this time is... We need to let them target with the Dread Return, and then we'll Faerie Macabre, because that forces them to wait a turn. And then that will give us enough time to attack. Or draw another burn spell. They boarded in Pithing Needle. I don't see the Memory's Journey yet. Maybe I'm just... Oh, there it is. It's underneath the needle. And now we will Faerie Macabre, Oracle, and... I don't think it matters. Memory's Journey. It just doesn't matter. And now Oracle's on top of their deck, and we need to draw... just something that kills them here. Because we have 2 damage on board, and they're at 3. Boltwave will do. Boltwave will do. Alright, that bought us enough time. Game 3. We will resubmit. No sideboarding changes. Do I want to keep a 4-lander on the draw? I think the answer is no. This seems reasonable. Bottom a mountain. Blooded Strand. So I'm not going to play out the Grafdigger's Cage on turn 1, just because it plays into Daze. And this is a spell I really want to resolve. Swing for 1. And step they fetch. For a Meticulous Archive. And by playing out the Monastery Swiftspear, if our opponent has Prismatic Ending in their hand, the Swiftspear might actually bait out the removal spell, so that way our cage is more effective. Nomads and Core. Okay. Grafdigger's Cage. Trigger Prowess. That resolved. Suspend a Riftbolt. So if they want to kill me now, they need an answer to Cage plus Cephalid Illusionist. They're at 16. Versus Saga. Nadu. Okay. I could have killed the Nomads. Perhaps this is my own fault. It's a lot of lands. And now they have Needle. They can name Faerie Macabre, which we don't have. Yep. And they'll attack for 1. They go to 19. Riftbolt. There's a Shuko. They find Daze. Brainstorm. Cephalid Illusionist. And now they'll Brainstorm with the Riftbolt trigger on the stack. They fetch down to 14. Target you with Riftbolt. They're at 11. We find another Boltwave. Play the Boltwave. We know that our opponent has Daze in hand. Lava Spike. The Force of Will pitching Cephalid Illusionist. Will attack with the Monastery Swiftspear. Do they block? The answer is no. So they go to 3. But I still can't beat the known Daze here. So we're supposed to pass. And hope that they just don't have the win. They still need the answer to Grafdigger's Cage. And they're going to find a lot of cards this turn with Nadu. So, do they have Prismatic Ending is the big question. Swords to Plowshares. They can target their own creature with swords. Another Nomad. They make a Construct token just so they can target it with the Nadu. And they finally found the Prismatic Ending. We just lost. I guess they did pitch Cephalid Illusionist to a Force of Will, so they need another Illusionist, which they might have. I don't know. They can Swords their own Construct, and that's what they're going to do, going up to 7. They fetch down to 6, and now they Brainstorm. Down to 5. They attack for 4. Okay, so I guess they didn't have another Cephalid Illusionist? Alright, deck. Burn Spell. Oh, I forgot they get to do all this in my upkeep again. Yep. There's another Illusionist. Nomads in Core. Ponder. We need no Force of Will, and then we need to draw into another burn spell. Well, that is a burn spell. We'll float to red. Fireblast you. And if they have 2 Dazes, Fireblast actually plays through it. They have another Force of Will. That's a bummer. Skewer the Critics. They brainstorm in response. They go to 1 life, swing. And it should be pretty easy for them to win here. Like, they already have the Cephalid Illusionist. I think that they could even win without doing Nomad's Cephalid. They could probably just target enough with Nadu to draw their whole deck. Alright, so they've targeted themselves a bunch, and now they're continuing to do so. They've revealed the Dread Return and Memory's Journey. There's 9 cards left. They can just play another Nadu from hand and then play the Oracle from hand. So they have this wrapped up. We were just short of winning both these games. Well, okay, we were not close in game 1. But we've had a number of losses throughout this league where our opponent has ended at 1 life. Like, that is the disappointing part to me. We had a match versus Elves, or a game versus Elves, where they won at 1 life, and now this opponent on Cephalid Breakfast wins at 1 life. So a lot of nail biters not going our way. We're now 1-3 with 1 match left to go. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? The final round. Let's see if we can get this one. On the play. Sure, we'll keep this. Alright, we'll play a Mountain and suspend Riftbolt. Pass the turn. So when you look at this league, we faced Dimir Reanimator, a pair of Cephalid Breakfast deck, and then Elves. We built our deck with Reanimator in mind. We did not build it with Cephalid Breakfast in the forefront of our mind. And Elves isn't really a popular deck anymore. We could be playing things like Searing Blood in the sideboard or Searing Blaze, something along those lines. But I don't think that's actually like what you want to be doing. Oh no. Okay, it's Moonstompy, Vexing Bobble, that will shut off my Fireblast. So I think we've kind of just got bad. Oh, it's going to counter a Riftbolt. No! Oh, I did not consider that. That hurts. And I was thinking like, oh, we've opened up a pretty good hand, and now we're just getting blown up by this Vexing Bobble. We're getting blown up by Vexing Bobble. They're probably Painter. And then I drew a second copy of Fireblast. Price of Progress is not good against opposing mountains. This hand went from very good to not good at all. Painter is another deck I would not have wanted to play against. Yeah, that's a Goblin Engineer. Okay. And there's the Painter Servant. We will Lightning Bolt the Goblin Engineer. Play Goblin Guide. We have a long way to go if we want to win this game. Swing. They reveal an Ancient Tomb. They play an Elegant Parlor. Surveils away a Plateau. So we know that they have Ancient Tomb in hand. And they hardcast a Simian Spirit Guide, sure. We draw land number 3. I think we just have to pass. Grindstone. And they're not going to play the Ancient Tomb. Discipline. We draw a 3rd Fireblast. We haven't drawn it like all league until the opponent plays a Vexing Bobble. Like, I've just drawn so few Fireblast. Like, obviously I've drawn it a couple times, but there's been a lot of times where I'm like dying to draw Fireblast, and now that there's a Vexing Bobble in play, we're just drawing them all. Alright, Monastery Swiftspear. Pass. They target me. Sure. Another Goblin Engineer. So this can bring back the Painter Servant if I don't draw a burn spell that can kill a Goblin Engineer. They selected Pre-War Form Aware. That makes sense why they're playing white. We did draw a Chain Lightning, so let's kill the Goblin Engineer. And now we'll attack. Trigger the Goblin Guide. Fable of the Mirror Breakers, the reveal. Swords to Plowshares. Okay. We will pass the turn. That is Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Another mountain. Pass the turn. So we can only pray that our opponent is silly enough to sacrifice this Vexing Bobble, which I don't think will happen. But you never know. People do crazy things all the time. Goblin Welder. And now they attack. Yep. Let's try to kill the Goblin Welder. Pass the turn. Another Vexing Bobble. Skewer the Critics will put them down to 11. Pass. They copy the Goblin Shaman. I think one of the few ways we could win this is if I draw a couple mountains in a row and we just start hard casting Fireblast. Another Price of Progress, okay. They use 1 Vexing Bauble. Yeah, so we'll take 4 down to 12. They still have 4 cards in hand. We'll play Eidolon of the Great Revel. Pass the turn. They copy the Goblin Shaman again. No blocks. We'll play Goblin Guide. We'll go to 8. Swing. The Goblin Guide triggers. They reveal another copy of Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Another Swords to Plowshares. So they go to 9. And they're going to block the Goblin Guide. Okay. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. They now get another Goblin Shaman, so they can just keep on copying. I thought there might have been some silver lining there where we got rid of the Goblin Shamans to stop this, and then they just drew another. So we'll take 2 down to 8. And step will Price of Progress. And they just go to 6. They don't even bother getting a Basic Mountain. Skewer the Critics would put them to 3. Okay. We need our opponent to not draw into Painter Servant. Goblin Engineer. Okay, well that doesn't kill me right now, so it gives me a draw step. Phyrexian Dragon Engine. I think that actually kills me here, because they can unearth it and then copy it with Reflection of Kiki-Jiki for lethal. Oh, also they can just copy the Goblin Engineer and then deck me with the Painter Servant. So I'm dead a number of ways here. Okay. I'm good to just concede. That was a rough one. Alright, we don't want Price of Progress. We do want Null Rod. I think we want Smash to Smithereens. I don't think boarding in Faerie Macabre is the right way to play this matchup. I understand that they're a deck that uses the graveyard. I think it's just approaching it in the wrong way, though. Between Null Rod and Skewer the Critics, that should be enough to stop the things we care about. On the play in game 2. Sure, keep. Monastery Swiftspear. And we'll attack. The opponent's at 19. They have Basic Mountain. And Fury. Okay. They could have held on to that waiting for another creature, but the opponent decided no. I just want that Monastery Swiftspear off the table. And a Vexing Bauble. I think I want to just get in there right now and not worry about the Vexing Bauble. The Riftbolt draw was not good with the Vexing Bauble on the table, but I want to maximize the Goblin Guide damage if I can help it. So that's why I'm choosing to use the Goblin Guide now. Broadside Bombardiers. They attack. We'll take 2 going down to 18. Are you going to fling the bauble? They do. Okay. We'll suspend a Riftbolt and then Boltwave. So they go to 9. They play Urza's Saga. Goblin Engineer. Shadow Spear to the graveyard. Wasn't expecting that. And now they attack. We'll go to 16. Riftbolt will come off suspend. We'll target them. They're at 6. We have to pass the turn, but if they put an artifact onto the table, we can try to smash to Smithereens. I say try because there's a Goblin Engineer, so we need them to not swap that artifact out. They play the Plateau. They attack for 2. We'll go to 14 here. Our opponent thought for a little bit before they attack, so they're definitely contemplating what I could have. And they just pass the turn. We'll pass the turn back. We know that they have Swords to Plowshares in their deck, so I want to see if they tap the Plateau. And now we can double Lightning Bolt. And we have kept the Smash to Smithereens hidden. Off to game 3. I will just resubmit. Okay, we've opened up a fairly good hand. I will keep this. Ancient Tomb. Turn 1 Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I don't love that. We're going to have to kill this Goblin Shaman. Land number 4 was not what I wanted. Pass the turn. The one upside here is that Ancient Tomb is dealing them some damage. So it's making my job a little bit easier. They discard Ancient Tomb City of Traders. Bloodstained Mire. They fetch down to 17. Another Fable. Why? Why are you like this? We'll play Monastery Swiftspear. Chain Lightning them. And attack. Okay, they're at 10. One Fable transforms into Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, and the other goes up to the second chapter, so now they can discard 2 cards and then draw 2 cards. It's up to, so they could discard 0, 1, or 2. Goblin Welder and Goblin Engineer. City of Traders. and a Goblin Engineer, Pre-War Form Aware, and Vexing Bauble. Yep. We draw Boltwave, play Goblin Guide. We'll play the Boltwave. Makes our Monastery Swiftspear just a little bit bigger. They go to 7. If I skewer them, I'm just talking through this. They block, keep the Engineer, and then they use the Engineer to bring back Pre-4 Form Aware, which will get back another Goblin Engineer. Or I could kill the Engineer, but then they're still at 7, and I don't think I like that. So let's skewer them. I think going after the Goblin Engineers at this point is a wasted cause. And now we'll swing. Goblin Guide triggers. They reveal a Goblin Welder. They just conceded. I will take it. So we got half my entry fee back. Not bad. I do think we got paired against some matchups that I would not want to face if I was playing Burn. And that is not a reflection of this list. I think that this list is good. 2 and 3 is not a great record. I'm willing to admit that. That said, double Cephalid breakfast when it's like 3% of the format according to MTG Goldfish is not what you signed up to do today. Yes, we have Faerie Macabres and Grafdigger's Cage, but it's a tough matchup. I would have liked to have faced some spell combo, not permanent combo, which is what we ended up facing throughout the entire league. I do think Boltwave was pretty good. I don't think I'd change the mana base. I really don't. I don't think you want fetch lands. I don't think you want the Horizon lands. I think that those things are ultimately traps, but if I'm wrong, tell me why in the comment section down below. I'd love to learn from you, but that's all I've got for today. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, support the channel, really. And have a great day. And as always, keep storming. Hey you, yeah you, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're interested, you can visit theepicstorm.com/donation-decks to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel. You can even join me in a video in the Epic tier. It's totally worth it, I promise. And see ya. Thanks for watching.